Head over to the brand new FriendoShop.com and get your latest Friendo merchandise. While you're there, use code FRIENDOFRIDAY to get 20% off. And don't forget to pick up Don't Interrupt the Game t-shirt right now. FriendoShop.com. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch and the YouTube these days. If you guys can't make the show live, on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. If you want to ask us a question here on the show, you can head up to the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. But yeah, we go live on Mondays, on Tuesdays in the 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays after Dynamite, and then on Fridays for our special Friday edition show, also at 11 a.m., 2 p.m. Pacific. And then this past weekend, we had a new episode of Count Out Top 10, AEW's Top 10 Biggest Mistakes. You know what I thought was coolest about that video?
We didn't get a whole lot of people saying nasty things about us in the comments.
Actually, yeah, that's literally what I was going to say. What we try to do with this is not be, oh, what a bunch of dummies over there, right? We tried to utilize constructive criticism, but yeah, to get those views, you wrap it in a little package of clickbaity negativity. But then at the beginning of the episode, we say, hey, look, man, we're just here to constructively criticize.
Yeah.
We're not here to get anybody.
It's relatively speaking, it's a young company. They're going to make mistakes.
And the Friendos responded, and they were really cool. I didn't see a lot of, I didn't look at all the comments, but I didn't see much in the way of that. You guys know what voice I'm about to do.
Yeah.
You guys are a bunch of WWE biased sweaties, AEW, whatever. So I'm glad we didn't get a lot of that this weekend, because I had no
damper in my weekend.
No quarter for that.
Same.
Isn't that what it is? No quarter?
Yeah.
I had no time for that business this weekend. So yeah, speaking of weekends, this coming weekend, very exciting. Our very first show as owners of a wrestling company, and this is amazing, Larson, because already, we have the card booked out. We do. It's done. You can go to the Action Coast Wrestling Twitter account and check out the lineup. However, breaking news: we got the scoop on our own wrestling company.
Yeah,
I was gonna sell this to Fightful, but Sean laughed at me. The main event has been changed due to situations outside of our control. Unfortunately, the legend Christina Von Eerie is not able to cash in that night for her shot at Alpha Zoe's ACW World Championship. So our very first show, the main event is now Alpha Zoe versus Vacant. We're looking through contenders, man, and there's just so many good contenders. We're going to have somebody. We're narrowing down the list.
Yes.
But I just appreciate that Steven Larson's first wrestling show, the main
already
event.
Building intrigue.
Right. Alpha Zoe versus Vacant. Maybe there's going to be a guy in like a gray bodysuit showing up. I don't know. To be Vacant. Might have to. Hey, do you still have Hilton's number? Get him in a gray bodysuit. He's fit.
Oh, I deleted that a long time ago.
I've seen him almost get into a fight with you once.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
So I think maybe you ever seen Hilton get into a fist fight?
No.
Neither have I.
Including with me. Never happened.
Well, no, I know he didn't, but he was about to with you. But that's like the closest I think I've ever seen him actually almost get into a fight. I've never seen him even almost get into a fight before.
We weren't going to fight. That never happened.
Oh, I can understand. You won't remember you were super drunk, but we're not talking about that.
I've never been that.
We've litigated this story a million times.
Yeah, I know. And your one witness is not the most reliable. So,
you talking about me?
No. Well, you as
our old roommate.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, he said that shit happened all the time, so I'm pretty sure it did. Anyways, listen. Also, unrelated to this main event situation, Cal Jack. Mm-hmm. You guys wanted it. He's here this Saturday at Action Coast Wrestling Resurgence.
So excited to see Cal.
Right here in Sacramento. This is going to be a lot of fun. Still time to get tickets. Still time to make plans.
Get your travel arrangements made.
Exactly. I think it's probably like maybe Thursday, Friday-ish. If you're on the other side of the globe, it might be difficult to, at that point, to suddenly decide I want to go. Some trips are like super long.
I know, but also if you're flying across the Pacific, aren't you essentially going back in time?
You're going back in time. So, yeah.
So that could still work out, maybe.
There's still time. YouTube chat, if you're watching, hit that like button on this episode of Going In Raw. We've got the game himself, Triple H, zooming in at the very end of the show. You think
That's right.
You would think you got this, the CEO, the head of creative of everything WWE. You put him at the beginning of the show if he's going to zoom in. No, we put him at the end of the show.
No, we got to get that watch time up.
Got to get that watch time up. You can wait for that. He's going to zoom in. Or at least somebody who sounds a lot like him, but I'm pretty sure it's him. I'm pretty sure I'm led to believe it's him, Larson. He's going to preview Raw. We also going to talk about.
Interesting you would say that.
AEW's Rampage. Well, there's legalities. AEW's Rampage that we're going to review. Interesting episode of Rampage. Also, WWE Smackdown with another Triple H return to WWE. Not another Triple H.
Another Triple H, not a Triple H clone, no.
There's been like 13 Triple H's that came back. No, people that we know Triple H loves, he brings them on back after they were let go from WWE. So we got that in addition to the winner of the World Cup of Wrestling, SmackDown, has been revealed and determined on that episode of SmackDown. Of course, got plenty of news, including a time that Brock Lesnar almost showed up in Impact Wrestling. What?
That's pretty wild.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in a second. But first, of course, all the world is speaking on William Regal leaving All Elite Wrestling. That shithole dump of a company. Whoa, Regal.
Wow.
Hold on a second. Is that how he really felt? Maybe. After a couple weeks of rumors that William Regal was wrapping up his time in AEW, sources have told Fightful Select that William Regal was, quote, effectively done with All Elite Wrestling and is likely headed back to WWE. PW Insider reported that Regal was, in fact, finalizing a new deal with WWE and is currently expected to officially start after the new year.
Interesting.
As for why, he's going to win the Rumble. As for why Regal is departing AEW, Wrestling Inc. and Busted Open Radio's Justin LaBar tweeted out this weekend. So what I'm picking up is Regal's done with AEW, back to WWE soon. Close with Triple H, but also his wisdom and coaching not appreciated / received the way you think by some in AEW locker room who feel they have six-figure multi-year deals, and Regal's advice is behind the times or beneath them. Former NXT wrestler EC3 provided some more detail during an interview with Sports Keto when asked about Regal headed back to WWE. Larson, these transcripts come to you via SE Scoops. What did EC3 have to say?
He said he's too valuable to not be in a developmental system. All I know we can say, he's there mentoring the people in AEW. The thing is, they are not listening. The talent doesn't listen to veterans for the most part. The ones that do are knocking him in the back of the head with brass knuckles and are the world champion. The other ones are doing moves all the way from Dynamite to Rampage to Dark, and nobody cares. His value is grooming future generations in NXT. Like, I think he loved it there. I think he was super comfortable. If people are paid money to listen to him, well, maybe they will actually listen to him. The word was, he said, I immediately regret this decision. There's very much maturity issue here within management, verbatim.
Yeah.
Sources told Fightful Select that Regal was considered by those within NXT and NXT lifer, and that Triple H was, quote, very unhappy when Regal was released by WWE. So at least one Blackpool Combat Club member has commented on this whole situation. Claudio was asked by the Dallas Morning News about Regal's status, and this is how he responded, quote, I mean, I guess we have to wait and see. You know, we're still talking. I think we have to have a little group meeting to figure out what's next, or if there's a next, so yeah. I'll leave it at that.
There's probably no next. I'll just, Claudio, I don't think there's a next. Claudio, you're watching.
Doesn't seem like there's a high probability that there will be a next.
No next for you, Claudio. Interestingly, in response to Justin LaBar's tweet, Brian Pillman Jr., of course, part of AEW's roster, tweeted this in response. Said, this is not entirely true. There are several of us, including myself, who spent multiple hours before TV working with Regal and learning from him. Maybe. Should there have been more? Maybe. But he and Danielson always had a solid audience around the ring before TV. So interesting that, obviously the shout to MJF being a guy who would listen to William Regal. I get the feeling that behind the scenes, MJF is a delightful human being, man. I just get that feeling,
Yeah, I get that feeling too.
Yeah, probably a good guy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that also backs up maybe, your preferred method of use for William Regal. And that's talking to people. That's developmental. That's teaching there at NXT. NXT isn't always my favorite brand, but one way to correct that is to get good people in there. Exactly. William Regal is definitely one of those good people.
It seems to be a role that he enjoyed. Seemingly, if what Justin LeBar and EC3 are saying, that aspect of his job was not what he wanted to be in AEW in terms of imparting his great amount of wressling knowledge on the next generation of wrestlers. And if that knowledge was falling on deaf ears, whether it was kind of writ large or on a smaller scale, as opposed to being in NXT and that being your job, and people who were there in NXT, they are there to listen to you, to heed your advice, and to absorb that knowledge.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not necessarily a situation where it was as drastic as EC3 said, oh, I regret it immediately. But, if you're used to a situation where your job is to be a teacher effectively in NXT, he goes to AEW, and that role is different. Despite him and Danielson maybe trying to hold little clinics before shows, that's not his primary job. And maybe he just really enjoys the teaching aspect of being in the wrestling business these days. Who knows?
Well, dude, there's an interesting natural conflict within AEW from day one, and that's the fact that EVPs, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, those are dudes who sort of traditionally clash with the older school, just in general. I mean, the obvious one is how Cornette talks about all three of those guys. Cornette being very much a proponent of the old school style of wrestling. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, one is right or one is wrong. You would think, just common sense would tell you listen to a guy like William Regal. But I'm not there and I'm not a wrestler. For all I know, if I was a wrestler, I'd be the guy who'd be like, you ain't got nothing for me. I don't know, because I'm not that. I'm not that person. If somebody has gotten to a certain point in their life doing things a certain way, and they've made very good money doing that, and they find themselves in a certain spot in AEW, who am I to say you should be listening to a person, Yeah. And I understand that point of view. I really do. If they don't want to, I get that. That's the reason why Regal's like, okay, well, if my advice is not going to be appreciated here, then there you go. And I'm not saying anybody's right or anybody's wrong.
Yeah, totally. We heard this back when
seems to
Punk
be the
was
case,
talking,
right?
Yeah, like when Punk was talking about how he said specifically Hangman, was acting as if he was above receiving advice. Well, you listen to the Hangman quote, and it was self-deprecating. He was cracking a joke about himself. But this is a common criticism. Jorge here mentions it in chat that Billy Gunn, Arn, Punk all mention wrestlers in AEW don't want to take advice from all the veterans there. And again, that should be the prerogative of whatever wrestler. Me personally, I like to hear what Regal would have to say.
Yeah.
Just because he's a wealth of knowledge. And even if you just hear him out and say, all right, that's cool. I heard that. Not much I can glean from this conversation. At least you had the conversation. At least you gave yourself an opportunity. Maybe you learned something else.
Yeah.
But then again, if I had worked on the indies for a dozen years, built a huge brand for myself, doing things a different way, felt very comfortable doing things my own way.
Yeah.
And at times had some measure of conflict with those who espoused a more old school method of professional wrestling. Then I could see why they'd be like, nah. Yeah, what am I going to learn? They're going to tell me how to work a body part? I know how to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. That being said, if you're coming in through a next in line program or something like that, which is what WWE does to a degree now, they bring in, it's like, man, I couldn't think of a better person that would, we've heard a couple stories from Cal about his time there in NXT, and Regal was there at the time. And yeah, man, I think that him going to NXT, if that is the situation, that's great for them,
Yeah.
for new talent coming in. Absolutely.
Let's talk about other new talent. New talent going to Impact Wrestling.
Oh man, can't wait to see this.
Like 15
Ed Edwards,
or so years ago.
I mean, line up the dream matches for Brock Lesnar. Ed
wow.
Edwards, PCO,
Johnny Swinger.
Taurus.
Well, back then, Jeff Jarrett.
Hey, Brock Lesnar in the X Division.
Wow, that'd be
amazing! Look what I just did.
Amazing. Amazing. So on the latest episode of his podcast, Kurt Angle revealed that Brock Lesnar, almost made the jump to Impact. These transcripts come to you from Wrestling Inc. This is what Kurt had to say. Quote, Brock calls me. He's not in WWE anymore. He says, listen, man, can you get me in TNA? He said, hey, what are you making? I told him what I was making. He said, if you can get me that, I'll come. And I approached TNA, and they said, no, we're not going to give him that kind of money.
Wow.
So this would have to be after Brock left WWE initially. So
2004.
For what? 2004, sometime between 2004. Well, Kurt left in 2006, right? WWE.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he left after Brock. Yeah, you're right.
So, or 2005, 2006. And so this had to be sometime between 2006 and 2012 when Brock came back.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if you could even narrow it down further. I don't know. When did his UFC career start? Was it right? It wasn't right after he left, was it?
No, because he tried to play for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
we could totally get on Wikipedia and point this,
totally
nail this down.
And he wrestled in Japan some.
I feel like a good 6-year window is probably good enough, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's kind of interesting. Could have been. I mean, that boy, what a landscape changer that would have been. You think they would have used him right then? I mean, they had some really good pieces that they did not use well. They had a killer roster.
They had a lot of good talent. I know.
They had a killer roster. You add Brock to that, I don't know if it really makes much of a difference, to be honest with you.
With Joe and AJ.
I mean, I know some of these guys that we're going to list off are kind of over the hill guys, but it's like Kevin Nash was doing really entertaining stuff. Booker T was Booker T. He was doing great stuff. Steiner was doing Steiner
Joker Sting stuff. Yeah.
Sting was great. He was doing the Joker Sting, which is, if a lot of people are to be considered the pinnacle of Sting. There is a lot of cool shit going on in TNA, or at least a lot of cool pieces, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on. It's just they never had the business acumen to not tank the company. And it is what it is now. It's like one of my favorite wrestling promotions now because Scott D'Amore really does God's work over there. Like
it's the most consistent wrestling program on television, I feel like.
It is. And you get consistent. I mean, speaking of consistency, you get such a heavy emphasis on every division. They treat every division like $1 million over there. Would Brock have been a game changer given their business practices? I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you. I kind of doubt it. It's not like they would have, do you think Impact would be much different today? I kind of feel like it wouldn't be. They'd have a bunch of Brock Lesnar cool moments for their flashback segments.
I mean, maybe they would have had a slightly better TV deal. Maybe their TV would be on a channel that I could actually watch.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Maybe.
What's Axis's parent company? Is it HD?
It's Anthem now, right?
Oh, it's Anthem. That's what I'm thinking of.
Anthem bought them.
Anthem bought them, yeah. So maybe Anthem will have bought like Spike TV or something.
Well, that's assuming Anthem would have bought Impact from Dixie Carter.
Yeah, who knows, man? There's a whole lot of
maybe Dixie Carter wouldn't have had the sold Impact if
what ifs.
Brock Lesnar was there.
Wrestling what ifs, man.
Exactly. Now we have a huge one.
Yeah, big one.
Brock Lesnar in the Impact Zone.
Oh, wow. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, we can. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let us know. YouTube chat, Twitch chat. Let us know. What do you think would have happened there in TNA with Brock Lesnar around? Do you think we'd be looking at a different landscape?
That would be out of business had Brock gone to Impact.
Oh man, it'd be like it's like those Marvel what ifs. Like that shit. It's like one little thing changes. Spider-Man joins Fantastic Four, and all of a sudden, Galactus comes and eats Earth or some shit. Like it was always the most dramatic thing.
It's the butterfly effect thing. You go to prehistoric times, you kill one butterfly, and it changes everything.
You believe that shit?
Man, that's way over my pay grade, dude.
Speaking of pay, let's pay some bills, Larson.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So today's sponsor is Raycon. Larson, the most wonderful time is nearly here. It's been here since the end of October because I put up my tree like right after on November 1st. I'm talking about, of course, the holidays. But that's not to say there's not stress this time of year. Maybe you got to worry about holiday travel or prepping a meal for your entire extended family. Or maybe you got to be around some family members that drive you up the wall. The last thing you want to stress about is finding a great gift for everybody on your list.
That's right, Steve, and that's why my go-to gift idea is some premium audio products from Raycon. I've been using my Raycons for a while now, and I've found that they're useful in just about any situation. I use them to listen to podcasts or music while I'm working out, or I'm out running errands, or if I just want to listen to something mellow, and relax. So I know that anyone you gift some Raycons to will find a use for them right away.
That's right. And for the next month, get this, Raycon will have a countdown to Christmas with a new pop-up flash sale deal for you to take advantage of every single day. You can also now find Raycons in stores like Kohl's and Walmart, but you'll always get the best deal at buyraycon.com/raw.
Right now. Go to buyraycon.com/raw to get 15% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY plus free shipping. That's code HOLIDAY at buyraycon.com/raw for 15% off your Raycon purchase. buyraycon.com/raw.
A lot of great ideas here in chat. Rozzy here. YouTube says Brock and TNA. That might have been the end of TNA. Sad last days of TNA with Brock there.
Or a whole new beginning for Impact.
Good point. Delirious says in Twitch chat, if they didn't hire Hulk Hogan, Brock would have been the guy. I wonder if they would have spent all their money on Brock. They wouldn't have had enough money left over for Hogan.
That's a good point. A good point.
Maybe things would have been good there. They wouldn't have tried to go head-to-head on Monday night.
Yeah.
For like a week and then not the other week and stuff. That was so weird.
Yeah. It was a mess. It was just a bad idea all around.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, man. They had such a good thing going, and then Hogan comes in, doesn't even know how the people are.
Yep.
That's according to AJ Styles, I think. That's not even coming from some dirt sheets. That's AJ saying that in a shoot interview. That's what we got to do. We got to watch the most diplomatic shoot interview of all time, and that's an AJ Styles shoot interview. This dude seemed to like everybody, and everybody liked him. Whenever you go watch an AJ Styles shoot interview, he just says pleasant things about like everybody, with like very few exception.
And the exceptions are generally pretty diplomatic.
And they're universal exceptions, like everybody talks shit about them. There's somebody I know, but I can't forget. I can't remember who it is. But there's somebody I'm like, oh, what did AJ Styles say about this guy? Because everybody hates this guy. And he's like, oh man, yeah, he was not the nicest guy in the world. And that's like the worst AJ will say it about anybody. Oh yeah, he was not the nicest guy in the world. It's like, wow,
that's interesting.
Shooting hard.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk SmackDown. That happened on Friday.
Sure did.
I watched it. I assume you watched it because you were texting me things about it.
Oh, absolutely. I watched the SmackDown, man. It's one of my shows that I watch.
One of your shows that you watch, yes. Well put. We have our World Cup champion, not for the international FIFA World Cup, SmackDown World Cup champion.
Not for football.
No.
Yeah.
It's Ricochet. He won, beating Santos Escobar in the main event in a really fun match.
Oh my God, this match was phenomenal, man. This is good
especially
stuff.
Like the last 5 minutes when it really picked up. It was really good.
Yeah.
So Ricochet goes to the stage, holds up the World Cup trophy, confronted by Gunther. I think they said in 2 weeks they're going to have that match for the Intercontinental title.
That's awesome, man. What do you think the odds are? So, obviously it's not going to be on pay-per-view because there's no pay-per-view for like 3, 5, 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not till Rumble. What do you think the odds are? Because they're going to hype this up to be a big deal. They're going to hype this up to be a big match because Roman probably is not going to be around for like a month. So they're trying to make that Intercontinental Championship a big deal. Yeah. And because of that, I don't know that I love Ricochet's odds, but this is like the third time he's fought him. Come on, it's got to be like a 30% chance, right?
No, 10% chance. And that's no disrespect to Ricochet because Ricochet's great, but what's probably going to happen is Ricochet is going to be in a position to win. Imperium's going to get involved. That's going to bring Braun out. It's going to be a bunch of distractions. Gunther takes advantage to get the win. It's a bummer that we're going to have a Gunther Ricochet match used to motivate Braun versus Gunther probably at the Rumble.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. I don't know. 2 weeks from now, that's December 20th ish, 18th or so.
Be the 16th, I think they said.
The 16th.
Yeah.
The Rumble's at the end of January, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's still a ways off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a SmackDown match. I don't know, but
I don't know. You don't see Braun. Hey, you don't see Braun. I don't mean to interrupt you. You don't see Braun actually helping. What? I'm sorry. I hate when people interrupt me. I don't like being interrupted, and I appreciate that. I just did that too. I'm sorry. I apologize. Anyways, you don't think Braun's going to help Ricochet here as opposed to, because Gunther can move on to like above title stuff.
Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think more likely is Imperium's going to get involved first, and then Braun's going to come to the ring to kind of even the odds, but in the end, it's going to lead to Gunther still getting the win.
All right.
Because they've already kind of if they had set the groundwork for Braun versus Gunther already, I think Ricochet's chances would be slightly higher. I still wouldn't think he'd win. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're already kind of looking past Ricochet to a Braun and Gunther feud kind of seals the deal for Gunther that he's going to retain so he can defend against Braun.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't know. I'm on the I don't know. I love, though, that they had Santos Escobar go this far and highlight what he's really good at. They're a great – I love the faction, especially with Zelina there. What a great move that was. And I like Elektra Lopez, but Zelina fits in perfectly. I love this for them. Legado, Santos, he was in the main event, had a phenomenal showing. And unlike other factions like Hit Row, for example, Hit Row's lacking that one thing, Swerve, that could put the group in the main event, right? Well, Legado has that in Santos because he's a great wrestler. So he has this, and this elevates them even in loss so far up. And I love that because now everybody's going to remember, man, this guy's just a really great wrestler. Their branding is on point. The song is awesome. I love these little vignettes of them just sitting around talking shit. And then, of course, the tag team. You still have them sort of waiting in the wings for those WWE tag titles to whatever's going to happen with them.
Yeah. Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilder are a really good tag team. They're pretty fantastic.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Everybody in that faction is a really good wrestler.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, that's going to be that's good stuff. Also,
let's talk returns. Yeah. Not only could Regal soon be coming back to WWE, we had a return on SmackDown. Tegan Nox is back. Not surprising. Going back to the NXT days, you could tell that Triple H was a Tegan Nox fan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And not terribly shocking to see her come back after she was released now that Triple H is in charge. Seems like she's going to just reignite her feud with Dakota Kai. They set up the tag? No, they did not set up a tag title match for SmackDown. It was for the Usos tag title bouts. They have one tonight on Raw, I think, and then whatever that match.
They have tonight on Raw. They got Riddle and Elias.
Yeah,
and then Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
are going to be next up for them. Holy crap! Yeah,
that should be good. Oh, it was Liv Morgan that Tegan made the save for. So maybe we're going to get a Liv Morgan Tegan Nox tag team.
That's right.
To challenge a Damage Control.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Bloodline. Of course, no Roman showing up this week. However, we got 450 people right now on YouTube. What's up, YouTube?
Hey.
Hit that like button.
Up. Yes, please.
Just hit that thumbs up. Yeah, so the Bloodline, no Roman, but everything seems to be going pretty darn well in the Bloodline.
Well.
With a little seed of drama. Jimmy still wants to know if Jay has confronted Sammy about lying. And Jay is completely on board with Sammy. He kind of doesn't want to hear it. He's like, you know what? Roman said everything was fine. And hey, subject change. We got the win at Survivor Series. They helped Sammy get the win over Sheamus this week. Everything's good for Jay, but is he secretly plotting with Roman to kick Sammy out now? After Jay, we kind of called this has to be the thing. Jay's got to be completely on board. Yep. To the degree that this is going to be the thing. Kicking Sammy out now is going to be the reason Jay turns
his back on Roman. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's, yeah. So they're starting to plant those seeds, but of course we're enjoying, this is going back months. This is all I wanted to see. Sammy as a full Uso, as a full member of the bloodline. And this week he did the two-sided handshake thing.
That was great.
Wasn't that was a feat of coordination right there.
It really was.
You and I should try
like
to do that.
What's the thing? You pat your head and rub your tummy? Can you do that? And then switch hands and try doing it. See, I end up just patting my tummy and rubbing my head.
You have no idea how much concentration that just took me. Oh, man, let's dive into it. To start off with Sami Zayn versus Sheamus. First up, we get a Bloodline promo. Jay says Bloodline's in your city, and everybody throw up the ones except for Solo. Solo's just a statue at this point.
I did notice on stage after this match, like they were all throwing up the ones, and he had his arms crossed, but he still had the one up for a little bit like that.
That's funny. That is pretty funny. So Sammy says the Survivor Series Bloodline leveled up. The Bloodline again leveled up because of War Games. We had the longest reigning tag champs. And Jimmy's like, no, my dog. Tonight's about you. Of course, we leveled up at War Games, but you were the MVP. We were chanting. He says, you hear all the people? They were chanting Sammy Uso. And that's what the crowd starts chanting. Jay says, I doubted Sammy for a long time. I didn't like you. But when you made that decision to stand with the family, you earned my respect. And it's because of you at War Games we won that match. Sammy says, this is too much. I don't know what to say. And Jimmy says, well, I got one question. How are you feeling? And Sammy, just holding back tears of joy, of pride, says, right now, I'm feeling pretty freaking oozy, baby. And then Sammy and Jimmy are about to do their handshake, but they stop. And then Sammy points at Jay, says, come on, bring it in. And they all do the weird handshake thing.
Yeah, that was great. That was really great. So then Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes come to the stage. And Sheamus says, I'd hate to beat the bollocks off a fellow ginger, but trust me, by the end of the night, you'll have a massive smile on your face. I think there's been enough talking. It's fight night. Let's go. So the match happens, Sheamus versus Sammy. So Sheamus is calling for a bro kick. Sammy rolls the apron. Sheamus destroys him with 10 beats. Looks for a bro kick again. Jimmy gets on the apron, distracts Sheamus. Sammy's looking for a sleeper, and then Jimmy hits Sheamus with a super kick while the ref is distracted, getting Sammy off of him because Sheamus is holding on the ropes. Sammy follows the Blue Thunder Bomb. Sheamus kicks out, so the Brutes come around to ringside to attack the Usos. Solo takes out Butch with an Uranagi on the barricade. That looked like it sucked.
Yeah, no, my God, yeah. That's not the only spot that looked like it sucked on this episode of SmackDown. The suicide dive from Santos to Ricochet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a rough spot. So Solo and Ridge are brawling ringside. Sammy's looking for a haluva kick. Sheamus instead counters with the knees, looking for an Alabama slam. Jimmy, though, distracts the ref so Jay can hit a super kick on Sheamus, and Sammy rolls him up to get the win.
That's right. The only thing that's left, I know maybe I'm asking for too much, is the big giant statue ARG render thing.
Oh,
the graphic.
You want Sammy on there.
I've been waiting for that thing. Solo needs one too, but I've been waiting for that thing, man. After that, we had a Legado del Fantasma promo. Santos says Legado has only flourished since their arrival on SmackDown. He says, now I'm going to make sure SmackDown World Cup is in the rightful hands of a perfect enterprise. Winning this tournament shines a light on Mexico and the superior art of lucha libre. And then Zelina says, soon you'll all see that the Emperor is the very best this industry has to offer. The results speak for themselves. The World Cup will give Legado a first-class flight to the IC title. And when Santos becomes the IC champ, it'll give Legado a position of power within WWE. Santos says, me and Ricochet have met before.
Nice little subtle nod to Lucha Underground there.
Yeah, man.
Santos was King Cuerno.
Ricochet was the
Prince Puma.
Yes, that's it. I wanted to say Swerve's name. It was something cool, right?
Kill Shot was Swerve.
Kill Shot. Yeah. I'd never watched a single episode of that show. He says, but it's time. She said, but it's time that your fairy. I'm sorry. He says, but it's time that your fairy tale comes to its final chapter.
Then we have a Kofi Kingston interview. He says, I got an exclusive. I'm the first superstar to enter the Royal Rumble.
Baby!
And then he's asked who's winning the World Cup. He says, I like what I'm seeing from Santos. Can't bet against Ricochet. He is interrupted by Imperium. Vinci says, why would you ask someone with zero respect for our sport about their opinion? And then Kaiser says Kofi and Woods spend more time online than in the ring. And Kofi says, well, it seems like you all want to have a match tonight. Woods isn't here, so I'll have a match against any one of you. Gunther steps in and says, tonight, you're fighting me.
I love this part because Kofi's like, oh, okay. So what, you're just hanging out on the side here? You know, referencing the old trope. Somebody's just hanging out off camera. Whoever's on camera cannot see that person.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Were you just hanging out on the side here? Oh, man, that's funny. Dark Dang Lucha here in Twitch chat. So, Steve, watch more Lucha Underground. I do. I need to do that in the new year. Maybe I'll do like a watch-along thing. And there's enough time separate because Kayla did hers over at Church Joshi. Give it some time. Now I can start mine. You know, no overlap there.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you saw like half a season, right?
I saw the entire second season.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I love the entire. It was like when I used to room with
some of the third,
with Jeff's brother Scott. Me, Jeff, and Scott used to live in the house, and he was like, "Hey, can I borrow some DVDs?" I'm like, "Sure." And I just had the single fourth season of Deep Space Nine, which is like in the thick of the entire story because it's like a long ass story. It's like a 7-season story. He just watched that. Never bothered with season 5. Never asked how the entire thing ended, so he doesn't know to this day. I think. If the Federation ever bested the Dominion.
Interesting.
Yeah. I guess it was enough for him. Anyways, after that, we had a Bray Wyatt promo. These are getting to be a bit much, Larson. I'll be honest with you. I needed some more LA Knight. It's just Bray talking still. And
I know.
I get his point more now than I did back when it was just sometimes no point to him whatsoever. But there is a bit of a redundancy.
I know there is. I mean, they could have not done this one, at least the full thing. I mean, the point is, he took a long way around to saying I didn't hurt LA Knight.
Yeah, which he's.
I think the point is, give us more Uncle Howdy. I think that's really what it is.
Honestly, like, you know, man, why is Uncle Howdy not the one promoting Beyblades? You know, or running ropes? I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We need more Uncle Howdy. And this one, there is also some tropes in here that I'm like, oh, really? So he does the whole, anytime anybody says the word society at this point, I kind of tune out. That Joker movie ruined the word society for me. He says, you know what I think is pretty wild? I think we're spoiled today. Society has given us this lavish lifestyle. We're all shrouded in technology and everybody has manners. Which I'm like, what? What does one have to do with the other?
If you go on social media, it seems like nobody has manners.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. He needs to get on Twitter. And he says, spiders eat flies. Even to this day, snakes eat rats, man. But nobody looks at this like an act of violence. It's simply just animals trying to survive. So he's like dumping a bunch of trash on LA Knight as him just trying to survive. He says, some must die so that others can live. And you don't be the one. We don't dare talk about these things, even though all these primal instincts are engraved in every single one of us. But we don't dare talk about them because we don't want to be the freak, right? We want to fit into our little place in society and carry on, but they're still there. He says, I'm not the one who heard LA Knight. I did not. But I heard you, and oh, how you rejoiced. How primal of you. However, if I had been, you would all know, because there'd be none of him left.
Yeah, I think he was talking to Uncle Howdy there.
Yeah, right, yeah. He's like, yeah.
Then we have Shayna Baszler versus Emma. Before Emma makes her entrance, she's warming up in gorilla position. Madcap Moss steps in, asks if she's all right. She says, yeah, I'm doing good. It's been 5 years is a long time to be gone. The competition is tough. And Moss says, doesn't matter how long you've been gone. Did you forget who you are? The whole women's revolution would have happened without you. Yeah, you worked your tail off to make change, and now the game has changed. And yeah, the competition is tough, but you belong here. And she says, thanks. And she's about to leave. He comes back. Kisses him on the cheek,
bricked up,
and then she loses to Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, she gets choked out. So the obvious, metaphor here is clouded by love and sexual desire is Emma and Madcap Moss. They can't win, but because they're so focused on,
each other,
doing it.
Yeah.
But then the problem is, of course, in wrestling, nobody communicates if you're not on TV. So it's not like you could just show up one day and like you've had conversations and dates and intercourse during that period of time.
No, see, they're going to be away from each other for a whole week just thinking about each other. Not being able to communicate because it's not happening on television.
Right, yeah. Text messaging somehow only works if the camera's on you.
Exactly. It's a weird universe, that WWE one. So anyways, after Emma taps, Shayna is about to attack her arm. Shotzi runs the ring to make the save. Shayna drops Shotzi with the knee. It's about to stomp her arm, but then Raquel Rodriguez comes out to make the save. And she's already got her arm in like a sling or a brace or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's supposed to have a broken elbow.
Right. After that, we have a Lacey Evans video package. So another rebrand. This one was kind of interesting in that, obviously, once again, they're going hard on the Marines thing.
Well, it's back to basics with the idea that back to like basic training, essentially.
Is she going to master are we sure this was the Marines and not like the Army? Is she going to go and master the Army after already having mastered the Marines? Does she become top Marine? Or is that still just The Miz?
Well, I mean, I know The Miz has been the most Marine movies. I don't know if that necessarily makes him the top Marine, though.
Does she already achieve like 5-star general as a Marine?
I don't know.
I
would assume it would be the Marines because they mentioned Marines.
Yeah, they did. I was just cracking a
I didn't notice
joke.
any of the patches or any of the stuff on their gear.
No, I did appreciate, though, at the bottom there was a little disclaimer. It says, special thanks to the Armed Forces of the United States. So like they got, because she was doing, so the whole crux of this, she's in basically, it looks like basic training, right?
Yeah,
like you're doing a bunch of running and
just pull-ups,
and then I think there was like a rope or something. So she's going back to basics. The mission is starting, and then she's going to be like running ropes. Like, is this going to be vignettes of her, going into battlefields and stuff, or is there actually going to be wrestling involved here? It's like, hey, wait a second, what? You're supposed to be you're a Marine. You're supposed to be a Marine here.
That's a good question. I don't know.
And now you're just going to. You're just gonna go to the friggin' wrestling show.
I know. Like if it's returned back to basics, then shouldn't like NXT?
She should be in the PC.
Yeah,
right.
She signs a next in line deal,
right? Yeah,
with WWE and reports to the Performance Center.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You'll find out more next week.
I guess so.
All I can tell you is I'm glad that she's not, 1 week talking about how horrible her childhood was, and the next week telling everybody they're scumbags, because what a terrible message that one was. Boy.
Yeah.
Vince really that dude had checked out so hardcore at that point. It's like, wait a second. Vince, last week I was saying that how much I persevered because I was abused when I was younger. And then now I'm supposed to, the idea is I was abused. Now I'm a terrible person. Like, that's an awful message. What was Vince thinking? God.
I don't think he was.
No, he wasn't thinking.
God. Then we got a Ricochet promo. He says, so it's come down to this. Myself versus Santos. Since competitors to this tournament were announced, everyone's been asking me one question. What would it mean to Ricochet to win the World Cup? And I think it's pretty obvious. It means what it means to me every time I walk out that curtain. It would mean everything. If this is the path I need to take to get my rematch against Gunther, well, you're looking at the winner of the World Cup.
This was cool because this was like, it was shot. It was like a video. It wasn't like just a straight up promo. It was like a video package. Yeah. And I'm like, this is like the best Ricochet character stuff I've seen because they were able to produce it. It wasn't him standing cold in front of a camera, just talking. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was well done. Had a sportsy feel to it.
It did.
After that, we had Kofi Kingston, versus Gunther. Of course, the Imperium gets involved in this match, tripping him up and stuff like that. Kofi's able to sort of get it back together. But in the end, Gunther, what does he get? A power bomb. Kofi kicks out of that, and then Gunther hits a power slam to get the actual win here.
Yeah, I guess this is new finish now. The commentary said it was a new finish for him. So it's kind of like Ricky Stark's finish, the Rochambeau.
That's right. Yeah.
Ricky gets them up, their face up before the slam. Gunther had they're on his shoulder face down and then slammed them. So it's kind of like a one shoulder power slam type deal.
Dude, he needs to. I love that. He just needs to employ a different finish. Like finish each match based on the opponent. Like he wouldn't do this to Braun, for example. You know. After that, Sammy is in the Bloodline locker room.
He's outside. He's locking up.
Oh, yeah. They're just outside.
He's pressing the button.
And he's like, "Hey, I got a great spot for food. I'm gonna get the car." And Jimmy's like, "Hey, no, you know what? Have Solo go with you." And Sammy's like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "Well, you've been making a lot of enemies around here." And he's like, "Okay, cool. We'll do that." So they leave, and Jimmy's like, "Man, I can't." He talks to Jay. He's like, "I can't believe you're cool with Sammy in the Bloodline." And Jay's like, "I never thought I'd see the day either." He says, "You ever talk to Sammy about lying to his face?" And Jay's like, "Nah, man. But you know what? Roman said he saw what he needed to see when he looked in Sammy's eyes. And we saw how War Games went down, man. We got the win." And then Sheamus comes in and just mows them both down with his Gilson. Oh, my God. He annihilated them with his shillelagh. Yeah, it was great.
And then he says, I told you when we got through you at War Games that Drew and I were going to challenge you. So,
yeah.
Says something to that effect. Then we had a Damage Control promo. Bailey says, ding dong, idiots. Trust me. We don't want to be here in Buffalo. I'm pretty sure Michael Cole must have missed us. That's why we're here. SmackDown needed ratings, so they needed Damage Control. She continues, less than a week ago. We were inside War Games. They were in the match combined 95 minutes and 19 seconds. Do you idiots realize the magnitude of that? Do you realize what that does to our bodies? Of course you don't, because you cheered for Becky Lynch when she won. She was in there for a cup of coffee, but you know what? I will give it to Becky. And the crowd starts chanting for Becky. And she goes, Bailey says, I was going to give it up for Becky, but because of you, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not.
Let's talk about the SmackDown roster. Nobody back there has the guts to step up to us. Nobody back there wanted to face us. And as the longest running SmackDown champ in history, that really disappointed me. So we're here to be role models for SmackDown. You got Io Sky. You got me, Bailey. You got Dakota Kai, Damage Control. And then she's interrupted by Liv Morgan. And she says, it seems like you got a problem with the women's division, and I'm here to address it. And she counts 1, 2, 3. Seems fair to me. Storms the ring, pulls Dakota Kai out, throws her into the ring steps, sends Io into the barricade. She gets in the ring, starts going after Bailey. Io and Kai get back in there, start stomping on Liv. That's when Tegan Knox runs to the ring to make the save. She's overwhelmed by Damage Control, though, so Liv gets back in the ring with the kendo. And then Tegan hits Bailey with the Shining Wizard.
The Shiny Est Wizard, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, cool to see Tegan Knox back. Who's left? Who's left in the Triple H pantheon of people who are available? Like Jonah. Jonah's supposed to sign.
Yeah.
There was rumors about Jonah coming back.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, if you will. I don't know if you'd want to bring these guys back, and I don't know what their deal is exactly with New Japan, but the Mighty Don't Kneel.
Oh, yeah.
They had a really cool run in NXT before all sort of fell apart.
They did.
And they had some injury issues. But I don't know, man. The idea of bringing them in is just like really, really good tag team. I think that could be
I can see
cool.
why that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a neat one.
It would. Yeah, they're great.
They seem to be Triple H guys. Chelsea Green.
Yes.
And of course, we talked about Eric Young's return last week.
It seems like that's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still plenty of people. Oh, this is an interesting one. A couple interesting names here in the YouTube chat as well. Jesse says Oni Lorcan.
He was doing some training at the Performance Center. I read.
Oh, recently?
Yeah. Like
that's cool. Oh, that's neat. I had no idea. I did not hear that. The big guy here also in YouTube chat says, Authors of Pain.
Yeah, that was weird how their main roster run went.
It was very weird. It also happened like during pandemic and stuff.
Well, they kicked Paul Ellering out.
That was horrible.
Their first day.
Yeah, you bring him back.
Yeah.
You think fans would be hyped to see them? I think if you package them up pretty well.
If you bring back Paul Ellering with them, yeah. He has the algorithm.
Yeah, that was the problem. Without him, they didn't have an algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they didn't burn people with that.
That thing they tried to do. Yeah.
The show they tried to do and then fell apart. Yeah, we heard some stuff about that. What about John Morrison and Taya Valkyrie? You think they'd come back? Could you imagine John Morrison finally being used right in WWE? Because I feel like he kind of never was.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of experience Taya had in NXT.
Yeah.
When Triple H was still there,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess a lot would depend on that. At least for her. I mean, I guess Morrison maybe. That could be likely.
We have 200 people watching on Twitch live. 510 watching on Twitch.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry, on
Hi,
YouTube.
everybody.
What's up, everybody? If you guys are watching us on YouTube, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button. If you're listening to this in the audio realm, do us a massive favor and leave us a rating, review, or a comment. It really does help going in Raw. After that, we had a Karrion Kross promo. He showed up again. He said, "This universe is one giant storm. It's chaos, randomness, and I embrace this truth. Others struggle with this reality. The more they fight against it, they come to find that it puts them in the places they really don't want to be. I thought Drew and Madcap knew this.
Oh, I taught.
I taught. Sorry, I taught. I try to.
This is why you have someone else do the notes for Raw.
He said, "You don't walk against the wind. You don't pee in the wind." That's what he says. He says, "You don't eat the yellow snow either." Now it's time to take somebody else into the eye of the pea storm. And then Scarlett flips over a tarot card, and it's a Rey Mysterio collector card.
It really is. The art was pretty awesome on that card.
That'll be cool stuff. More like this is a terrible year for Rey Mysterio. I don't know what's going to happen before the end of the year, but Rey Mysterio's having a bad year. I feel like
so
Cross needs to
forget for Rey.
Cross needs to wipe the floor with Rey Mysterio a lot here, right?
Yeah. Just flinging him around the ring. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Highlight of the show, Uncle Howdy drops a promo.
Oh, man.
Says, do you know the man who lives next door? How well do you know your neighbor? Why can't y'all see that? I know what he thinks. I know how he feels. It's all fiction. Trust me. Revel in what you are. Of course, he's talking to Bray.
Yeah.
Give me more Uncle Howdy.
Do you know the man who lives next door, man? How well do you know your neighbor? Why can't you all see that I know what he thinks? I know how he feels. It's all fiction. You think you know Bray Wyatt. You're wrong.
You think you know me.
After that, we had the main event. Santos Escobar versus Ricochet. And this, honestly, dude, this is one of those things. So, like, there was a bunch of... I like early on, they did the thing where everybody gets involved and they chuck the rest of Legado out of there.
So it's just down to them, yeah.
Because then we have, like, plenty of match left. They did a cool, like, Rana spot off the barricade. They did a cool Rana spot off of the top rope or the second rope or whatever. There's all sorts of really awesome shit going on here, man.
Yeah, especially down towards the finish. It really picked up.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal match here. So anyways, Santos goes up looking for a super phantom driver against Ricochet, but Ricochet escapes that. Hits a super poison Rana, which was amazing. Gets a jumping knee, a super kick, a round kick. Ricochet goes up top, and he hits his 630 to get the win. And then Ricochet goes to the stage. He's super happy. There's fireworks going off. He holds up that World Cup of SmackDown Wrestling. And then Gunther walks out to confront him. They have a face-off, and Ricochet says, I got this cup now, and then I want to get that title also, please.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
That'll be a good match in a couple weeks' time.
Solid match right there.
We had Rampage as well on Friday. I was pretty excited to see Shane Taylor.
Yeah, man, that was cool.
AEW.
That was cool.
That was pretty cool.
I love that segment, man. So Shane Taylor talking about Keith Lee's history, and this is actually a solid point. You know, y'all think, oh, Swerve's a bad guy. Keith walked out of him. He still walked out on him. Mm-hmm. So who actually looks like an asshole here? Probably still Swerve because he was trying to use pliers. But Shane Taylor confronts Keith Lee. He says, what's up with you walking out on family? You did it to me. You did it to JD. And you did it to Swerve. Mm-hmm. And he says, we got you and a partner of your choice at Ring of Honor. What is the one called? Final Battle.
Final Battle.
And then he was like, good luck finding a partner, asshole. And then Keith Lee's like, but then Swerve rolls up behind him. And he's just big grin on his face.
God.
He's like, can I even count on you? And I'm thinking to myself, can he count on you, Keith Lee? You're the one who walked out on him. Mm-hmm. Can I count on you? That's not the question here, sir.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's good stuff. Yeah.
It was great. I've been wondering where if Shane Taylor was gonna, have a part in either AEW or New Ring of Honor, because he was doing some really awesome work.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the tail end of Ring of Honor before Tony Khan bought him. So. It's cool to see him. It's super cool to see him. We got the tag title match that we've been waiting for a very long time. It's finally happening on Dynamite, I think. FTR, finally, after being number one contender for like 8 months, is getting their title shot against the Acclaim.
Is this going to happen at Winter is Coming?
I think Wednesday. I think it's happening Wednesday.
It's going to happen this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not getting a clean finish this bout.
Yeah, no, they need to do this. A Winter is Coming. So they need to do this with a clean finish, and that clean finish is Acclaim winning. Like, you can do a little bit of, like, I don't know, somebody comes out and distracts something. I don't know, but like, you need to establish Acclaim to the thing. Acclaim is the most popular thing in AEW right now. The best thing they got going. They're homegrown, completely homegrown. I'll be honest, with the exception of the presence of the Factory, this felt more like a Dynamite-ish episode of Rampage than we've gotten recently. I thought there was
so the opening bout and the main event, except for those.
What was no? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there was stuff that happened in between, though.
Yeah. So about half the show felt like an extension of Dynamite, and the other half felt like standard Rampage.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm trying to find the good stuff here. I'm trying to find so much of Rampage has felt very sort of forgettable. And hey, you know what? That opening bout, Cole Carter, they're trying to make something out of the dude, So I'm fine with that. It's just, my God, he got everything in twice on Darby Allin, and Darby Allin barely got anything on him, which was kind of weird. But I mean, he still ended up getting the win in that opener.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was a decent enough match. They gave it time, and if the idea is Tony Khan sees something in Cole Carter, and it's one thing to wrestle, I guess, 5-minute matches on Dark or Elevation, but to get out there and in front of the bright lights of a television broadcast against one of AEW's top guys, to see how he could comport himself. He's only been wrestling, commentary said, for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather see Darby wrestle a lot of other people, but, I guess in terms of the talent development aspect of things.
When is he doing the Joe match? Is that this Wednesday?
Yeah.
That's going to be a fucking killer match.
Yeah. I think this Wednesday's Dynamite is pretty loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, if that FTR match versus the Acclaimed, if that's happening this Wednesday, I feel like that needs a bit. I hope that's going to get a wonk finish just so they can come back around to it. A winner is coming, or some other big themed episode.
You had Jay Lethal and Double J and the Ass Boys out there for that.
Oh God,
segment, so they're going to wonk it.
They going to do the old Vince thing where they wonk it and then it turns into a 8-man.
Maybe.
Oh wow.
Although AEW doesn't really do that.
No, not at the moment.
Diamond Battle Royal too.
We could get this Wednesday. Is this Wednesday winner is coming, or is that a week from now?
No, that's next Wednesday.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right, because the winner of that gets can cash in any time. Maybe they'll do the 8-man at Winter is Coming.
Well, it'd probably be like a fatal 4-way tag match then, not just an 8-man tag. Like all 4 teams.
That's
in the
a
title
good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
They might do that
because
then FTR gets their title shot. They don't take a pin.
All right, let me ask you
boys
this.
are eating that pin.
Let me ask you this, man.
What?
Is FTR having all these titles just a big pain in the ass and precluding us from seeing matches that we want to see, like a straight up head to head with FTR and Acclaimed where somebody wins and somebody loses, or FTR versus the Young Bucks in a third match?
Probably.
Because they can't do anything.
I know.
If you can't take those titles off the Acclaimed. That'd be stupid. And the other guys have like a million other titles that I'm not going to say beholden to, because Tony Khan thinks he's like the king of the indies, or king of non-WWE wrestling. And so far,
can seemingly dictate the terms of any match any of his talent is in. Yeah.
So far, like everybody's acquiesced to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Like FTR just walks out with those titles, and it's like, man, but they're sacrificing their AEW, matches that we should be getting now before they totally go back to WWE. But I don't know.
that bit where I think it was the interview with Fightful where Dax was talking about how they might take a year off from TV wrestling. Yeah,
that'll last like 6 months. And then Triple H will be like, hey, we got a giant bag full of cash over here.
He'll call him up and say, I want 2 words from you in response to this. Do you want to come back? Say yeah.
Is that a picture of Triple H with Baby Gargano?
Mm-hmm.
He's got Triple H has the most adorable look on his face. It is the cutest thing. Anyways, kicked off with Darby Allin and Cole Carter. Like I said, Cole Carter's got so much shit in. And a lot of it was like he was just sort of walking around like preening and stuff.
Yeah, he was. That suicide dive that Darby hit him with, though, because like he hits Camarado's in the ring, throws a toothpick at Darby. Darby hits him with Sting's bat because there's no Sting. Mm-hmm. And so Darby kind of flings the bat outside the ring, and Cole Carter goes to pick it up. And as he's starting to kind of just get back up, Darby annihilates him with the suicide dive. Mm-hmm, and in fact, I think Darby ate more barricade than Cole Carter when on that one.
Yeah. No, Darby suicide dives Those might be my favorite. I know traditionally it was Phoenix.
Oh,
but...
it's Rey Fenix when he does a suicide dive and does the flip in midair.
So I'll put it this way. It's Phoenix's in AAA because he goes into the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
He suicide dives the crowd.
Yeah.
But in AEW, yeah, the flip is pretty great. God damn, that flip is impressive. Yeah.
The amount of distance he can cover doing the suicide dive, and there's a flip in the middle of it, is damn impressive.
But Darby just goes, man, he goes full on.
Yeah, the velocity that Darby does his with, I don't know how that's sustainable.
Yeah. So yeah, Darby gets the win here with a coffin drop. He's manifesting some sting here. He does the thing, you know,
beating on the chest. He don't sell shit. Yeah, he's pretty much trying to get the sting.
Yeah. After that, we had that Keith Lee interview where Renee's like, so what's up with your relationship with Swerve? Last time he didn't say shit. And he said, it's an ongoing negotiation. And Shane Taylor with angry face steps in. He's like, what's up with you always leaving family behind? You left Swerve. You left JD in Dallas. You left me 6 years ago. I went on to become the greatest TV champion of all time, but the business between you and I is far from over. Let's settle it at Final Battle. He says, me and J.D. Griffey versus you. He says, good luck finding a partner. And then he found a partner, Swerve. Swerve found him. And Lee's like, can I count on you? He's like, to get this win, you can, yeah.
Then we had a 10 Dark Order video package where you had Silver and Reynolds talking about 10 turning on the Dark Order. They pretty much say, we can get over this. -1, it's going to be hard for him.
Yeah, the big bummer.
Then we had Renee interviewing the Acclaimed in the ring. She asked, what's next for you? Bowen says, we can't answer that question without first addressing what happened on Dynamite. He says, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal interrupted our scissoring, which can only mean one of two things. One, they're jealous that everybody loves the Acclaimed, or two, they want a shot at tag titles. But they can't cut in line, and they'll have to wait, especially because there's a tag team that's been waiting a long time to get a shot at these, and the Acclaimed are fighting champs. We're the people's choice. The people have been screaming that they want the Acclaimed to fight the best, so they're up to buy Gun Club. And Austin's like, oh, hello, old friends. You say you want the best tag team in the world, you're looking at them. Well, then, Double J, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh come to the stage. That says, when I look at the guns, I see a couple of ass boys, because right now you're looking at a 2-time Hall of Famer. That's Jeff Jarrett. You're looking at the greatest professional wrestler alive, Jay Lethal. And we're going to show you why we're the greatest tag team when we beat Private Party next. And Billy Gunn goes, hold on. Maybe you misunderstood us, but we want the best. And that's where you hear, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. FTR walks past all of them on the stage, goes to the ring, shakes hands with the Acclaim. Match is on.
Let me ask you something.
What?
FTR.
Uh-huh.
One dude's wearing a black shirt, gray pants. The other dude's got... Do they do that on purpose?
Coordinate their fashion?
Yeah, because one guy has black pants, gray shirt. The other guy has black shirt, gray pants.
I'd like to think so.
So they're like... They had two grown men are like, what are we going to wear?
Yeah.
They seem like the kind of guys who don't... I'm not saying like any grown men wouldn't do that. It's showbiz. I get that. They seem like the types who wouldn't, though. They seem like the types who are like, oh, whoa, you have gray pants and a black shirt. I happen to have a gray shirt.
And maybe that's why we don't really think about it. Because you wouldn't think FTR would coordinate their street clothes.
They totally do, though.
But they do, because you mentioned it is show business. And they pay attention to the details.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. What should we wear today, Cash? What's their real names again?
What's
their real names again? Scott? Is one of them Scott?
Well, that was Scott Dawson was Dax's WWE name.
Oh, is that one his real name?
Remember what their real Greg. Hold on.
David.
That doesn't really say in Wikipedia what their real name is.
That's weird.
It has their AEW name and their WWE name, but not their shoot names.
That's weird. Maybe somebody here in chat knows. Whoever, Twitch or YouTube, whoever gets this answer first, they win the day. Hikaru Shida and the Bunny have a video package where this is for Hikaru Shida. Oh man, I forget the name of this title.
Regina hold on.
Daniel and David. Ace Shock has it here on YouTube. Thank you, Ace.
Thank you.
Regina de Wave.
Yes.
Wave?
Yes.
That's cool. So it's for that title. They had a video package for that. Hikaru was going to retain. Jay Lethal and Double J had a match against Private Party. And Jay Lethal and Double J get the win.
How about that finish, that lethal injection stroke combo?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was pretty cool. That was good stuff. Double J has quickly become my wrestler of the year 2022. I think he's got a good shot at 2023.
Long way to go. Long way to go. Is Jeff Jarrett in the Going in Raw Hall of Fame? I don't remember.
He should be.
I don't know if,
I don't
know
think
if he was, because I think he got into the WWE Hall of Fame before.
He should be.
He got into ours.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Remember, if you're in the WWE Hall of Fame, you're disqualified. You can't be in ours.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what a shame.
For some reason, we set up that rule. I don't remember why.
We're innovators.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. Then we had a Saraya sit down with Renee Paquette, talking about her match at Full Gear. Says it was such an emotional moment for me because I never thought I'd get back in the ring. It was bizarre to go out there and have a match like that. She says, talks about how incredible it was to have her brother out there. She says he was there and trained with me, and to see him in the front row get really emotional it was really something. And then she's asked about what a special moment Full Gear was, and she says, I felt like Full Gear was a special moment across the board for women's division. We had 3 matches. She says she's proud of Britt, she's proud of Jamie for becoming champ. She mentions the interview that Renee did with Tony Storm about wanting to get the title back, but she says, Saraya says, I want all the women to know that I want the title too.
Yep. After that, we had Athena versus Danny Moe. Athena, full on heel. She does such great in-ring heel work. She's one of my favorite in-ring wrestlers.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and she did the thing where she has a person down for a pin, but she brings her up to continue to punish her, Danny Moe.
I don't know if anybody in wrestling has better looking strikes than Athena.
I agree. I know. They look so
her
legit.
forearms legit looks like they connect every time.
They look really good. I know. Yeah. So anyways, she gets...
It was kind of like a weird... I don't know how to describe this other than like a weird kind of pop-up code breaker. Again, it's off the shoulder, kind of heaves them up. Code breaker type deal.
Yeah. It looks great. And then she suplexes Danny Moe to the floor, throws her into the ring steps. The ref comes out to break it up, or refs come out to break it up. She rushes past them and hits a meteora against the steps on Danny Moe. So
yeah,
Danny Moe's been written out for now.
Seemingly,
yeah. My goodness.
Then we get a Juice Robinson promo. He kind of gives his bona fides and says he's challenging Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor TV title. Steve, what are your thoughts on? All right, he's on his phone. That's I guess say no more. Then we get our customary pre-main event interview.
This is fun.
QT is asked, why'd you want a lumberjack match? And he says, I did it because of the House of Black. I want to have this match and win this title with no shenanigans. He says, and look at best friends. You're about to lose this title, and look at them. They're all dressed like jokes. They're all dressed like lumberjacks. Then Danhausen says, well, does this look like a joke? And they all produce axes.
They all look so fake, though, and I wish they would have produced actual axes with some blood on it. Danhausen should have had some blood on his.
Yes.
But this was pretty funny.
Tooth or two stuck on it.
Yeah.
So then Orange asks Mark Henry, can we bring these to the ring? And Mark Henry goes, no.
Absolutely not.
And he says, time for talk is over. And Orange says, oh, we still want to do more talking.
Can we just get 2 more seconds? It's time. I actually love the All-Atlantic title and Orange Cassidy main eventing Rampage because this ongoing thread with him and Mark Henry is hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, I love it. Then we had that match. And
you're skipping over Darby's promo.
And we had Darby practicing a promo in a mirror, and then they just filmed that and put it on TV. He says, for the past few weeks, I've been settling some personal scores. And now that they've been settled, nothing's more important to me than winning back my title. Joe, I challenge you to a title bout, but here's the thing. You don't want Wardlow out there, so Sting's not going to be out there either.
Yeah. And then we had the main event, Orange Cassidy versus QT Marshall. Fun bout. In the end, the match breaks down, so Penelope Ford walks to the ring as Orange Cassidy's going up the top rope. She gets up on the apron. She's distracting the ref. While that's happening, Kip Sabian pushes Orange Cassidy off the top right into a diamond cutter from QT. That was a cool spot. Not enough to win the All-Atlantic Championship, though. Orange Cassidy kicks out. So QT is looking for another diamond cutter. Orange counters with an orange punch, beach break to get the win. And then Orange takes out Kip with a suicide dive. They brawl up the ramp. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of lumberjacks fighting. I think Private Party, Tony Nese, Josh Woods. It kind of goes into the ring. The lights go down. Some red light comes up. House of Blacks in the ring, or at least Malachi and Buddy are in the ring, and then Brody's on the ramp.
Yeah.
And they lay out everybody. So then Brody and Buddy are about to hit Dante's Inferno on Ortiz. I guess by that point, I thought Brody was on the ring. Maybe I was not paying attention. But in the ring, they're about to hit Dante's Inferno on Ortiz. And Malachi's like, no, stop. Don't do it. So they hit it on Serpentico instead. Are they going to try to recruit Ortiz to join House of Black?
That'd be awesome for Ortiz. That'd be great for him. With him and with Santana not around. He ain't doing nothing. And then there was rumors that they didn't even want to tag anyways anymore, which would be a fucking tragedy because goddamn they were good.
They're really good.
That'd be awesome. That'd be good stuff. I thought I had something else to mention about this match, but the little bit with Matt Hardy helping Orange Cassidy, bucking the traditional trend of being a lumberjack who's there just to beat the shit out of people who fall out of the ring. He helped dust him off and put him back in politely. And then Ethan Page taking issue with that, furthering their, contractual conflicts there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, House of Black.
Stuff.
House of Black dominating again. Maybe instead of Ortiz joining them, this is going to be House of Black feuding with Serpentico now for 3 months.
Oh, it could be. That'd be
kind of in line. What's going on? We have a question thread here before we zoom in Triple H for his Raw preview.
Indeed.
Let's see what people have to say. So, we always do these recap threads here on the Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen Larson. Cameron Bartolozzo says, do you think Braun will cost Ricochet the title against Gunther, or will he help him win it? We talked about this a little bit, Cameron, already. I'm on the fence. Larson believes Braun is going to inadvertently cost Ricochet that Intercontinental
I never said that. That's not what I said. I said Imperium's going to get involved. Braun's going to come out to even the odds to help thinking he's going to help Ricochet, but in the end, Gunther just wins.
So Braun's going to come out thinking he's going to help Ricochet, but in the end, Gunther wins.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the insinuation then that would be him inadvertently. Kind of actually does make sense that I say it that way. Blake Whitehouse says, despite the Bloodline storyline being the best thing in wrestling, do you think it's harming the rest of the stories in WWE?
No. They're doing a pretty good job of incorporating new feuds into the ongoing Bloodline story, and then doing so. It doesn't feel like the Bloodline story at this juncture is spinning wheels because of cycling in new feuds. It's actually kind of helping the Bloodline story to cycle in these new feuds. So, no, I don't think it's hurting anything else.
David Matushek says, since the SmackDown World Cup is wrapped up, do you think they should do this type of tournament every 4 years like the regular World Cup does?
Yeah. That'd be cool. More tournaments. When does WWE can do their G1? That's what I want to know.
Nick Kyle says, what are some of the most high-pressure situations a wrestler will encounter in their career?
Man, I imagine main eventing WrestleMania is probably high pressure.
Probably. Yeah. Montreal Screwjob seemed pretty high pressure.
I imagine being like an Inferno match is pretty high pressure because you're in a ring surrounded by fire, and if you're the one that has to be caught on fire, you want to make sure that you're getting the right spot in your arm that they prepped, or whatever part of your body is that they prepped, so they can be safely caught on fire, is the part that gets caught on fire. That'd be pretty high pressure.
Patrick Kennedy says, how would you book Ricochet to be a credible contender and to win the WWE title at WrestleMania in 2024?
In the most basic sense, he needs to win a lot of matches and be involved in interesting stories.
I think it's probably difficult because I don't really find him a compelling promo, and I never have. And I just think that those kind of wrestlers don't become world champions. You can give him wins, you can give him compelling stories, but if he can't perform on a character level, I don't know that that's going to happen. So maybe like a heel turn. I think that'd be a good first step for Ricochet as a heel turn.
Yeah, heels have more fun, so that's a good step.
Tokane87, what was the first match you watched that you thought was bad?
That's going back quite a ways. I mean, I watched a lot of mid-'80s wrestling when I was a youngster, so if I went back to rewatch a lot of those, I'd probably think, wow, this is awful.
I never really considered, like, good matches and bad matches, I think, until, like... I don't know. I never, like, when I used to watch it, I don't know that I really... I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, the first one that really probably stood out to me, so much so that I was like, God, this is terrible, was probably... I think we might have recognized it when, like, Goldberg had, like, a really shitty match, because it was like something high profile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a good one. Jonathan has it. Jay Leno in WCW.
Oh, yeah.
That because it was so high profile, and it's like, this is going to be god awful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really pay attention to, like, work rate. All right. That's all the questions we have on Patreon. I think it's time, Larson.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of paperwork here to do. Paul's a very busy guy today. Because it's Raw Day.
It is Raw Day. That's correct.
All right. Here we go. Are you ready for this?
Sure. Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Dun, dun.
All right. I'm going to zoom in and do this paperwork. Are you ready?
Dun, 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 dun,
all right. What do you want?
Oh, we're talking Raw. I just saw that Byron Saxton had a video on Twitter announcing a couple more matches. So excited. How was your weekend?
Who gave him permission to do that?
I don't know.
I don't know who gave him permission either. Why would he have done that?
How was your weekend, Triple H?
Yeah, weekend. I work all weekend. I get lots of sleep. Don't interrupt. I get lots of sleep, but I worked all weekend.
Any luck?
Don't interrupt. I don't know why. I don't know why. The only video that I want Byron Saxton to put up. Hold on, I got to get this guy fired now. Now that you told me that. I specifically told Byron that I want a video up where he's able to prove that he has sold 10 Beyblades. And instead he's trying to hype the show tonight.
Okay, how about this?
I'm going. Hold on a second. I got to text.
No. I don't want anybody to get fired.
Listen, Steve. Here's the deal.
We'll buy those 10 Beyblades.
Me. You are setting new records for interrupting
Beyblades
me.
Because I don't want Byron to lose his job. We'll buy those Beyblades as well as the 10 we originally said. We'll buy 20 Beyblades.
Triple that number, and Byron keeps his job.
Triple the 10 or the 20?
Whatever is more, triple 10 or triple 20. I'm Triple H.
At full retail, 14. Was it $13.99?
13. I don't know.
NPYP.
I don't know what it is. Listen, you're gonna buy a lot of Beyblades, or Byron loses his job. That's the deal. It's your fault. I'm gonna leak it to all the dirt sheets. That's right. That Steve got Byron fired.
Well, I mean, if it says Steve, then I guess it's not on my hands.
Wow, you have no pride. You don't care that you got that you.
I mean, that's almost $1,000 in Beyblades you're asking us to buy.
What are you, poor? Are you one of the poors?
I mean, I'm not making.
You can't afford $1,000. Oh man, well then you're a poor. Listen. Buy these Beyblades, and Byron keeps his job.
Can we split the difference and say 30 Beyblades?
I'm going to send you like one of those ransom notes, cut out like little like magazine letters.
But all from like letters on the front of the Beyblades box, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and WWE programs. It's going to say,
so
buy all the Beyblades.
What? 30.
30 times 3 is 90 Beyblades.
No, 30 Beyblades. 30
no,
Beyblades.
I like 90 better. How about 30's a good number? Listen, 30's a good number. But 90's a bigger number. I think we could both agree on that.
That's well over $1,000 on Beyblades, though.
Right, yeah. Don't interrupt me. I know math. 90 times, because a full Beyblade set is $50. So 90 times 50. God, you're terrible with math. What an idiot. It's $4,500. Well, yeah, now I just said that. Now you're just copying what I said. $4,500.
We can't do that.
Plus tax times 1.08 is basically tax. $4,800
We don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, well, you need to find that kind of money, or Byron Saxton loses his job.
Okay. Can we continue this conversation later? I'm sure you're busy.
I gotta go. Lots going on Raw tonight. Lots happening on Raw tonight. My God. Announced for tonight, Bailey versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Cross versus Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Winners face each other next week for a title shot.
Yeah.
That's happening. You know who's going to win that one?
Those would be two really good matches.
You know who's going to win that one? I'm not going to tell you unless you buy Beyblades. No
I'm guessing
scoops.
Rhea versus Becky is going to be the finals.
No more scoops for you. Hold on, I got to text HR and get Byron Saxton fired. It's your fault. Going to leak
30 Beyblades. And
30
we'll
times 50 times 90. That's how many Beyblades you're going to buy. What is that number? 30
way too
times
large.
50 times 90 Beyblades. Wow, you're going to buy 135,000 Beyblades times $50. Oh, perfect. That's good. $6,750,000. If you're a poor, you can't afford that, but I feel like you're not a poor.
How much did you say? $6 billion?
$6,750,000 even.
Definitely cannot afford that. No.
Times 1.08 for tax. 7.2 mil.
I definitely
plus $90,000.
You got to take several zeros off that.
You got to take several suckets off that.
What else
is he
do you
done?
expect from?
Is he done?
Oh, did he hang up? We didn't go through the whole Raw preview.
What did he say?
That was awful.
Was it?
Yeah, that was rough.
I'm sorry.
Because there was a video on WWE's Twitter of Byron announcing 2 new matches, and he got upset like that Byron wasn't supposed to do that. He was going to fire him. And I was like, no, don't fire him. That's
you got Byron Saxton fired from WWE?
No, I don't. I try to get him to not be fired.
But you ratted him out.
No, I didn't know. I mean, it's on Twitter. Anybody can watch this.
Did you alert Triple H to Byron Saxton posting a video that let me just take a wild guess. Triple H wanted Byron to be pushing Beyblades, and instead he wasn't.
Yes. So here's the thing. So there was 2 matches announced on .com, which I have in our preview here, and then it was mentioned here in chat. There was 2 more matches announced. I saw they were announced via video from Byron Saxton, and I just said, hey, we got 2 new matches that Byron announced on Twitter, and then he got upset about that, and I was like, hey, because he said Byron was supposed to pitch 10 Beyblades to be sold, and I was like, fine, we'll buy those Beyblades, those 10, on top of our 10, so he doesn't get fired. And somehow that became, we had to pay $7 billion for Byron to not lose his job, which we don't have that kind of money.
Did you say 7 billion or 7 million?
Billion with a B.
I think you probably heard him wrong. He probably said million.
No, he did not. He said billion.
All right. Well, I don't know how you're going to get us out of this, but I'll be honest with you. We can't afford that.
That's what I told him. I said we'll do 30. We'll buy 30 Beyblades. I said we can maybe
30.
do that.
You're going to buy 30 Beyblades.
Fine. If I don't have to worry about Byron Saxton losing his job, even though I just mentioned something that was approved by really Triple H should make the call at WWE Digital, not to Byron Saxton to fire.
This is one of those situations where the snitches get stitches probably apply, but instead of stitches, you have to pay a lot of money to Beyblades.
How am I a snitch though? It was something publicly available. I just mentioned it.
Put up a poll on Twitch. See, is Larson a snitch or no? 75% say yes. Wow.
There's no poll up. I can see this right now.
Dude, I'm looking at the YouTube right now. Anyways.
Yeah, there's no poll there.
Listen, you just got us in a lot of trouble. You got Byron fired.
He was already in a bad mood when he called.
You're going to have to take out several mortgages for these Beyblades. So, congratulations. I feel like this was a big fuck up on your part.
You don't have to pile on, you know.
I got to pile on a little bit.
No, you don't.
A little bit. It's all
you
good.
should at least try to see it from my perspective. I thought it was an innocent comment because it was something that's publicly available. I thought it was approved.
You gotta be careful.
I don't know any better.
You got your words become weapons, my friend. Anyways, we'll talk about this more off camera. Yeah, Jonathan has a right. Snake Larson strikes again. This is kind of like in line. I feel like we can release that Snake Larson shirt
being
now.
Accused of something that I did not do. And I don't appreciate the fact that you're piling on when you're supposed to be my friend.
It's not really piling on.
You are. 1,000% are.
Look, you and I can both admit that you did something really stupid.
I didn't do anything.
Shouldn't have. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to figure this out now. It's a Monday. This is too early in the week.
I'm calling it a day. Once we're done with this,
hit that reset button.
I'm going to go climb in bed.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
And I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to sleep this all off.
No,
like a hangover.
You're running away from your problems. What you're doing? That $7 billion ain't going away tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't sign a contract. I don't owe him $7 billion. That was his terms. We can't afford it, and there's not much to be done about it.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, maybe we can hire Byron.
That'd be cool.
Okay, cool. We could pay him like $50 a month to do something.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting ourselves in more trouble. We got to go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.